Let me have the parties identify.
Mitchell with the Lubbock County District Attorney's Office, appearing on behalf of the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. The department appears through St. Francis Ministries caseworker Amanda Faulkner and Supervisor Amber Weatherford, present and ready to proceed.
Jana Clift-Williams, I'm the attorney for the respondent mother, Jordan Rogers, and I see her, she's here, Your Honor. We're ready.
Craig Johnson, attorney for the father, Zachary Gonzalez, present, ready, Your Honor.
Linda Ebling, attorney, guardian ad litem for the child, present and ready. And I think placement was going to be on. I'm not seeing her yet.
Okay, tell me about Zachariah. Where is Zachariah currently placed?
He's placed in a foster home here in Lubbock. He is doing very well. Has been gaining weight, and he eats very well. We haven't really had too many concerns. The doctor seems pleased with his progress with being born so early. They had a question about his thyroid, but he passed the first test, and they're just monitoring it to make sure everything's good. But he is a happy, healthy baby.
Okay, very good, Miss Eveline. Any concerns with Zachariah?
No, it looks like he's growing. Said he just gotten over rotavirus, but it's doing well.
All right, Miss Rogers, do you have any concerns regarding Zachariah?
No, ma'am.
And Mr. Gonzalez?
No, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Mitchell, what's the status of service on Mr. Gonzalez?
Your Honor, I show that he was served personal service on October the 19th. I also show in my notes that he was adjudicated as the parent at the adversary hearing.
Right. Okay, Ms. Cliff-Williams, Mr. Johnson, do we have any placement options that we'd like the court to consider at this point?
I would need to ask my client, Jordan, to see if she has any family members she would like Zachariah placed with.
I don't.
Father does not.
No, Your
Okay.
Honor.
Okay, let's talk about Ms. Rogers' plan of service. What are we asking Ms. Rogers to do in this case?
We're asking her to participate in all of the services outlined in her family plan. She is doing quite well. She completed Grace Manor already, inpatient program, and is now in their outpatient program. To maintain stable housing, she is currently living with her mother, and we are looking into housing options at this time for her. And maintain stable employment. She has a job and is working. Is it full-time or term?
Part-time.
Yeah.
It's part-time.
She's working very well. She has twice-a-week visits with her son. She is doing very well. There are no concerns with the visits. 12 hours of parenting, which she completed her Grace Manor parenting class, and then asked for additional classes. So we're referring her to the nurturing center to complete a psychological, participate in individual therapy, participate in an OCR assessment, complete random drug screens, and participate in the substance abuse program, which she completed, and then attend AA NA classes and obtain a sponsor, which she has done. She has also already obtained an anger management certificate from Grace Manor, but that was not on her family plan.
Ms. Cliff-Williams, it sounds like your client just jumped right all over it and got some services done and really tackled that drug issue right from the beginning. I like it.
She did, Your Honor. I'm very proud of her. Things would work so much more smoothly if all my clients were like Jordan.
Agreed. Okay, Ms. Cliff-Williams, any concerns with the plan of service?
No, Your Honor.
All right, I will approve the plan of service. Nice work, Ms. Rogers. What did you think about the Grace Manor program?
It was helpful. I gained a lot of tools, and I feel like it saved my life.
Okay, very good. All right, what about Mr. Gonzalez's plan?
To participate in all services as outlined on his plan, participate in services offered while being incarcerated with the Lubbock County Detention Center, maintain stable housing, maintain stable employment, participate in supervised visits, participate in 12 hours of parenting classes, participate in a psychological evaluation, participate in therapy, participate in an OCR assessment for random drug screens, a substance abuse program, and NA classes, and obtain a sponsor.
Mr. Johnson, any issues with that plan?
None at all. And he has also done what he can while he's in jail. He is set up to start the parenting classes. He is currently doing, I guess, the 33 series out at the jail, which is kind of a manhood educational kind of program, empowerment type of program. He's waiting to receive the parenting packet from Amanda.
Yes.
And he is currently doing AANA down at the jail as well. And so the other things, the psych eval, therapy, and I'll have to wait till he gets released. He has a PNC next Wednesday. Jim Shaw represents him on the criminal case, so hopefully they'll have a resolution then.
Okay, very good. I will approve the father's plan of service as well. All right, anything else on Zachariah?
No, ma'am, not at this time.
Okay, great start, Ms. Rogers. I'm going to set your first permanency hearing March the 19th at 2 o'clock. Okay, anything else?
No, Your Honor, not from the department.
Okay, very good. We'll be adjourned.
Gary
Thank you.
Mitchell with the Lubbock County District Attorney's Office, appearing on behalf of the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. The department appears today by, I see Judy there. Are you appearing as caseworker? And Todd Cogdill as the supervisor. Your Honor, present and ready to proceed.
Lindsay Murray on behalf of the mother. I am present and ready.
Jim Shaw representing the fathers.
I don't think I saw Matt come in. Okay, what is the status of service on the fathers?
Your Honor, I show personal service on Juan Martinez on October the 24th. I see personal service on Jose Perez on October 27th.
Okay, tell me about the children. Where are they currently placed?
Yes, there's 3 children, Christian, Adam, and Jesus. They are placed in a group home in Cypress, Texas. Christian, the oldest, he's in high school. He's enrolled. He is current on all his education stuff. He did have an IEP just on November 3rd. He has been reported to be doing very well in school. He's adjusting to the new school, making friends. At the home, he's reported to be doing fine. He does have autism, but they do let him have headphones to let him, block out the music or loud noises when he's agitated. Adam is in middle school. He is reported to be doing fine. He just reported he wants to maybe try out for the basketball team at the school. And in the home, he's reported to be doing very well. He is current on all his medical, and I believe he just had a dental appointment last week to have some cavities filled. But other than that, he's doing fine. Jesus is also in middle school. He just wrapped up the football season. He's reported to be doing very well in school, making new friends, adjusting well. As far as in the home, he's doing well. He plays outside a lot. He has a lot of friends in the neighborhood. He's also current on his medical and dental, and I believe he just had a couple of cavities filled last week as well. Ezekiel, he is placed in a foster home here in Lubbock, Texas. He's in kindergarten. He loves school. He's a very bright young man. He can read the newspaper to you with no hesitation. He's very smart. He's very observant. He's adjusted well in his new school. In the home, he's doing okay. He did have an incident happen to where another child had to be removed from the home. But after that, the caregiver and foster mom reported that he is reported to be doing just fine.
Okay, I know you said that we had some dental issues with cavities, but any sort of other medical concerns with any of the kids?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Any medications that they are on?
No, ma'am. I believe only Ezekiel takes melatonin, 3 milligrams at night to help him sleep.
Okay. Do we have any home studies pending or placement options we might be looking at?
There was a home study requested for a cousin in the San Antonio area, but the mom has told me she does not want the children placed there. She says that she does not know the family member is not comfortable with her kids being there. She did give a name to another person in Colorado, but that person has not returned my phone calls to request a home study. And then when I spoke to mom today, she said there was a kindergarten teacher that was looking to maybe be possible placement for Ezekiel, the 6-year-old.
Where's the teacher?
She's here in Lubbock.
Has she talked to the teacher?
Mom has talked to the teacher. The teacher has contacted me, but I had let her know that we did have some family members that we need to check into first to see if there were some possible placements. And then if need be, we could contact her if we needed to pursue a home study with her.
Okay, who told us about the cousin?
The cousin, I think she heard word of mouth. She called our customer care line and she informed one of the workers that she would want to be placement for the children. When I reached out to her, she said that her sister had been in contact with Miss Ochoa, which is the mother. So I think the family told her.
Let's do a home study on her and certainly maintain the current placements. Distribute that home study, give everybody 10 days notice if we plan to move the children.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Murray, any concerns regarding the children on behalf of your client?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is concerned about the physical well-being of the children. There was an investigation of some inappropriate behavior at the placement. So she has requested the kids be moved because of that investigation. She also, we filed for a de novo hearing. At this point, we are trying to get it set in the 364th. So sitting here right now, my client would request that these children be moved due to the CAC interview and the allegations that have been made with regard to her children.
What are you talking about, the 3 oldest?
Yes. Christian? I think it was Christian. No, I'm sorry, Ezekiel. I'm talking about Ezekiel.
Okay, so does she have any concerns regarding the older 3?
I mean, she does. They don't seem to be, she doesn't believe they're doing well in placement. She believes that they need to all be together. They need to be home. They need to be with her. She's been the primary caretaker. So, I think she has concerns about all of the children in care at this point.
Okay. Anyway, this group home would be willing to accept Ezekiel until we can find a placement for all 4 of the children closer to Lubbock or a relative.
I think the age is what was keeping Ezekiel from being in the GRO, but I can look into it and see.
All right, let's do a home study on the Lubbock teacher.
Yes.
That mom is requesting. Okay, let's do a home study on her for the child Ezekiel. Mr. Shaw, any concerns on behalf of your clients regarding the children?
No, Your Honor, but we do have an issue with visits.
Okay, what's the issue?
He's not getting them. Apparently, they've given a phone to the kids, but we need for them to set up a time and have the kids call instead of just leaving it up to the kids.
Okay, yes, I would agree. Let's set up a consistent time every week for the children to call. And are you talking about Mr. Perez?
Yes.
Okay, let's set up a time for the Perez children to call their dad. Make it specific every week and make sure he gets his phone visits. Okay. Mr. Shaw, any placement options from either one of the fathers?
I did not hear the Holly Cruz. Was that the person that did not return the phone call, or has she been looked at?
Was that the Colorado placement?
Yes, one of them.
Miss Webster?
I'm sorry, what was the name of the placement?
Holly Cruz.
I reached out to Ms. Cruz last week and left a voicemail and a text message, and I have not received any feedback from her.
Okay, I'll follow up.
Okay, if she calls you back, Mr. Mitchell, just send me an order for an ICPC home study on her.
I believe with them, Judge, there was some worry about CPS history with her. That might be why I haven't heard back from her, but we can double check.
Okay, anything else regarding the children? Do we have Christian started in PAL classes yet?
He hasn't started yet, but the coordinator did reach out to me that she will be contacting Christian in placement.
Good. Okay, let's talk about Miss Ochoa's plan of service. What are we asking Miss Ochoa to do in this case?
Sorry about that. I'll know what
Okay.
happened. All right, for Miss Ochoa, we are asking for her to actively and consistently comply with services outlined in the family plan of service, locate and maintain safe and stable housing, locate and maintain a legal source of income, participate in individual counseling and follow any and all recommendations, complete a psychological evaluation with Stonebridge Alliance and follow through with any recommendations, submit to random drug testing, and complete an initial OSAR.
Ms. Murray, I understand that Ms. Ochoa is asking for a de novo and we're still fighting the conservatorship part of the case, but any issues with the plan of service?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, I will approve the plan. Has Ms. Ochoa started any of those things?
She has not started yet, no ma'am.
All right. What about Mr. Perez's plan of service?
Yes, for Mr. Perez,
All right, Janie, thank you.
we are asking him to actively and consistently comply with all services outlined in the family plan of service, locate and maintain a safe and stable housing, locate and maintain a legal source of income, complete a 12-hour parenting class, participate in individual counseling and follow any and all recommendations, complete a psychological evaluation with Stonebridge Alliance or any service in Colorado and follow through with any recommendations, submit to random drug testing, and complete an initial OSAR.
Mr. Shaw?
Judge, my client's a non-offending parent. Individual counseling, OSARs, and all that stuff. He's working full-time as a carpenter. He didn't have time to do all of that just to please the department. So we object to all of that.
It seems like we heard some testimony from Ms. Ochoa at the adversary hearing about domestic violence with Mr. Perez. Am I misremembering that? Something about him punching her in the face right in front of Ezekiel. Yeah, I'm going to approve the plan of service as it is. Okay, what about Mr. Martinez's plan?
Yes, for Mr. Martinez, once released from incarceration, to actively and consistently comply with all services outlined in the family plan of service, locate and maintain a safe and stable housing, locate and maintain a legal source of income, participate in individual counseling and follow any and all recommendations, submit to random drug testing, complete an initial OSAR. And Judge, I was not in the adversary, so I was not aware of the domestic violence, but that can be added to the plan of service if need be.
I think you need to talk to Ms. Ward about the testimony.
Okay.
It's my understanding Mr. Martinez is incarcerated. Is that correct, Mr. Shaw?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm not sure he's going to be able to do all that, but I'll go ahead and approve the plan of service. But certainly, let's reach out to wherever he is in terms of the jail or prison and see what services are available to him and see if we can tailor his services a little bit better.
Your Honor, if I
Yes,
might, in reviewing the notes from the adversary hearing that Ms. Ward, she has highlighted in a star placed around the statement that Ezekiel was punched in the mouth and punched in the mouth on 5/7.
No, that's not correct. The mom
The mom.
testified.
I'm
The mom
sorry.
testified that Mr. Perez punched her in the mouth with Ezekiel.
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I'll approve all the plans of service for the parents. Y'all let me know as soon as you get a date for the de novo. Otherwise, I will set it for an initial permanency hearing March the 19th at 2 and maintain the current placements pending the home studies that I have ordered. Okay, anything else? Let me have the parties identify. All right, thank you.
Gary Mitchell with the Lubbock County District Attorney's Office on behalf of the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. The department appears today by and through St. Francis Ministries caseworker Janika White and Supervisor Amanda Roberts, present and ready to proceed.
Lindsay Murray on behalf of the mother, present and ready.
What's the status of service on the parents?
Your Honor, I show mom was served by personal service on October the 2nd. Mr. Rosales was served personal service on October the 3rd.
Okay, tell me about the boys. Are they still in the same RTC?
Justin is, Your Honor. Justin is still placed in Houston. He's in the 9th grade. He is doing fairly well in school now. There was an issue at first with him skipping class and smoking weed. That has since stopped. There's been no behaviors in the home. Medical and dental are current. He did have a dental exam last week and there was some decay. So he is on a special mouthwash for that. Other than that, Justin's doing great. Jonathan was on the run again. This last run was from October 31st until November the 6th, where he was captured by Brownfield police. He is currently incarcerated in the Terry County Jail for evading arrest. I did go see him last week, and he does not have a criminal attorney yet, is what the sheriffs told me, and I did let them know that he cannot read, so he was not able to fill out the paper. So the officer is going to assist him with filling out the affidavit so that he can get a criminal attorney.
Do we know where he went when he was on run?
He stayed in Brownfield. He did tell me that he was in New Mexico, but he was caught in Brownfield.
But we don't know who he might have been staying with or who might have been helping him?
With a gentleman by the name of Jilly, and when he was arrested, apparently the officers caught that guy as well as a female.
Ms. Talamontes, can you unmute yourself?
Yes,
Do you know this Jilly person?
I actually I was told a whole different story from what she got.
Okay, what's the story you got?
So the story I got from the neighbor behind my mother's was that John was in a car with 2 guys and a girl, Josiah, Bobby, and Leah. They were under the influence of those pills again. John ran they got stopped. They didn't notice it was John until they looked again. John got out of the car and took off running. He hid behind the dumpster behind my mom's house, and the neighbor behind her had told the officer where he was at.
And when you say those pills again, are you talking about fentanyl?
Yes, ma'am. My concern is why he was brought to Lubbock in the first place.
Well, tell me what happened after the RTC. Did he run from the RTC that he was in when he first came in the
He
care?
actually ran twice from them.
Okay, Ms. White, tell me what happened. Tell me from the RTC what happened from there.
He did run twice since being here. The first time that he ran was for 2 days. Once again, he went to Brownfield. Him and 3 other kids from that place here in Lubbock, they all ran. They were all caught. I recovered John on October 30th, brought him back to the QRTP here in Lubbock, where he ran that second time, which is October 31st. Then he went, of course, back to Brownfield.
Did the QRTP actually accept him?
They did, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Mitchell, I'm not sure why, but we should have had a QRTP decision by the court. I don't know what happened there, but I'm supposed to be involved in the decision making when a QRTP in my county accepts one of our kids. So I don't know what happened there, but I frankly would have been really concerned about Jonathan going to our QRTP here.
I will get an answer, Your Honor.
Okay. Have we talked to Jonathan? Does he have a plan once he gets out?
Yes, ma'am. He has said that he wants to live with a cousin in Brownfield. He has plans on getting a job at McDonald's and going to school.
Do we know anything about the cousin?
He did not give me a name, Your Honor.
Ms. Talamontes, do you know who he's talking about?
I don't agree to anything that John wants for himself. John is just manipulating the system. He wants to do what he wants to do, and I'm tired of it. I've been dealing with this for a very long time with John.
Okay, let's get a name for the cousin and let's do a home study on the cousin on behalf of Jonathan.
That's right.
And then I would request a hearing, or I'd request 10 days notice before the child is moved so I can request a hearing on behalf of my client.
You're talking about 10 days after he is moved into a placement?
I apologize. I would say 10, I guess 10 days if the St. Francis is planning on moving the child to this cousin, I think my client would want a hearing on that because I don't think she's in agreement with the child living with this cousin. So I would request a hearing before the placement of the child with this cousin.
Sure. Let's give Ms. Murray and all the other parties 10 days notice if we plan to make a placement with the cousin.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Talamontes, please understand there may be issues with the cousin, and that's the purpose of a home study. But I would much rather Jonathan be where we know he is rather than on the run. Always better if we can check on him. And the cousin may not be good, may not be a good option at all, but that's what a home study is for. Okay. Did Jonathan get any sort of treatment at the RTC for these drug issues?
He did not, Your Honor.
He ran before that could happen?
Yes, Your Honor, he did.
Okay. Is Justin getting any treatment for the drug issues?
He is seeing a therapist. He did take a UA in the facility. It was only positive for marijuana. So right now he's not getting any treatment for the fentanyl as that was not part of his drug screen.
Let's get him drug treatment.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Any medical issues with either one of them other than the dental problem you talked about with Justin?
Justin did see a therapist, and they are saying that he does have some depression. So they're looking into medication therapy on top of his counseling.
Okay. Does Justin have the same academic concerns that Jonathan has, or is he pretty on target academically?
He's pretty on target.
Okay. What is the status of service on Ms. Talamontes? I know you told me, but I didn't write it down. I'm sorry.
Service, Your Honor, I show personal service on October the 2nd.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Talamontes, any additional concerns? Obviously, there's a lot of concerns, but any additional?
There's a very lot. I would just talk to my attorney about it.
Casa, any additional concerns regarding the children that we haven't talked about yet?
No additional concerns.
All right. Casa, is there any way that maybe we can do a CFE case with these boys?
Yes, ma'am. We can initiate one.
I think that would be really good. Try to reach out for a network of relatives, support, any kind of support system we can have. It's very serious issues with both boys that need to be addressed. And the more relatives and the more support, the better.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. What are we asking Ms. Talamontes to do in this case as far as a plan of service?
We're asking for her to maintain face-to-face contact monthly with caseworker, to obtain legal employment, to sign a release form so that we can get information from her, to maintain safe and stable housing, a drug-free lifestyle, to complete an OSAR assessment and follow any recommendations, to complete a psychological and follow any recommendations from that as well. She has asked to participate in women's groups, so I did get her referral to that. We're asking for 12 hours of parenting and individual counseling and to maintain all visits with her children.
Ms. Murray?
Sorry, I can get my mouse to work. At this time, I believe that that's all very normal in this case, so I don't believe that I don't have any concern with those services.
I will approve the plan, but this is kind of a different case where we have a plan of service that needs to be really, really good for the children and different for the children. We have children with substance abuse issues. So let's kind of tailor mom's therapy to trying to parent children with substance abuse issues.
Okay.
Maybe Al-Anon, if we can add something like that, or You know, this doesn't come up very often in this court, so let's maybe visit with Mr. Gatlin or somebody and see if we have a therapist in town who deals specifically with parenting children with substance abuse issues, and send Ms. Talamontes to that person.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. What about Mr. Rosales?
For Mr. Rosales, I'm asking for him to maintain monthly face-to-face contact, to maintain legal employment, sign a release form, maintain safe and stable housing, a drug-free lifestyle, to complete an OZAR assessment and follow any recommendations, psychological and mental health assessment, to attend all supervised visits with his children, to complete 12 hours of individual counseling and parenting skills, following the recommendations that the therapist may have.
Okay, I'll approve that plan of service from Mr. Rosales. Do we know anything about his criminal case, how long he might be incarcerated?
My understanding from talking with Ms. Talamontes, Mr. Rosales was released from jail last month, and he went to a mental hospital. I've reached out to his mother, and I have not heard anything back from her or know any of his whereabouts.
Ms. Talamontes, do you know where specifically he might be?
He is probably in a mental hospital, so he gets on meth and he hallucinates. It's an ongoing thing with him. It never fails. Right now I haven't heard from him. I just know that the grandmother said that he will be in there for like a week or two.
Okay, let's get Mr. Morrow all the information that we might have about that, Ms. White, and see if Mr. Morrow can jump on trying to find him.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right, I will set this for an initial permanency hearing March the 5th at 2. Have the parties identified?
Yes, Your Honor. Gary Mitchell
thank
with
you.
Lubbock County District Attorney's Office on behalf of the Texas Department of Protective and Family Services. The department appearing through caseworker Frank Anguiano and Supervisor Dakota Miller, present and ready to proceed.
Craig Johnson, attorney for the mother, present and ready, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Anguiano, tell me about Prince. Where is Prince currently placed?
Hello, ma'am. So Prince is currently placed in a foster home here in Lubbock. He's placed also with his cousin Messiah, aka Messi, who's also a ward of this court. He's doing fairly well there. He has struggled. Both him and Messiah have struggled with several weeks worth of loose watery stool, and placement and doctors can't really seem to figure out where this is coming from. They've seen several doctors and changed several doctors and haven't really gotten the kind of explanations that we need. As a result, there has been a lot of rash and a lot of raw bottoms for the children. It's caused quite a bit of consternation for everyone involved. Things have improved a little bit over the last week and a half or so. Changes in, they've tried everything, changing formula, changing diapers, changing diet, and there is some improvement there. So hopefully we've turned a corner and these little guys can get a little bit better. There's a lot of consternation right now over Prince's ability to crawl. When I saw him last week, he was able to crawl on his belly using his forearms in sort of an army crawl, but when he arrived at placement, he was really unable to crawl in a significant manner. He's getting to where he can hold himself up by his arms more, but there is a delay there as far as his physical functioning, and I don't believe he had a lot of time to be on his tummy on the ground, and that's one thing we've been working on with visits with his mother. But other than the diaper rash and the significance around crawling, he's doing very well. He's a very snuggly, physically affectionate baby. He's loved on by the people at his daycare, and he's doing fairly well.
Okay, did we get ECI set up for Prince?
There was some delay about that, mainly because his birthday was wrong in impact. But I think we've got that fixed, and hopefully we are able to set that up.
Okay, hopefully ECI can help with both the crawling issue and the feeding issue. Maybe I don't know if it's an allergy. I'm sure all the doctors that have looked at the situation have tried to go through all those possibilities, but maybe changing formula, and they're probably doing all of those things. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. They've tried changing formula, changing diapers, every little thing, and they've gone back and forth, and things are a little bit better, but still we have concerns there.
Okay, Ms. Mason, any additional concerns regarding Prince?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Johnston, Ms. Cliff Williams, any concerns on behalf of your clients that we haven't talked about regarding Prince?
No, ma'am.
And Your Honor, I apologize. I had to reboot my computer, so I'm looking for my video. There it is. No, Your Honor, not that I know of.
Okay. Do we have any placement options that the parents have been able to come up with for Prince?
We've been given a mom has given the name of her aunt, Joanna Salvar, and we are looking to start a home study on her in the next week.
So it'd be a great aunt to Prince.
Yes, ma'am.
And where does she live?
She lives in Lubbock, ma'am.
And you said Joanna Salvar?
Silvar.
How do you spell that?
Silvar.
Okay. All right. If I need to order that expedited, let me know.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anything else regarding Prince?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
All right. Let's talk about plans of service for the parents. What are we asking Ms. Gonzalez to do in this case?
So we are asking Ms. Gonzalez to stay in contact with the department, and she and her mother have done a good job of that. We're asking her to maintain a safe, stable, and hazard-free home, and she seems to have that at the moment with her mother. She needs to maintain a legal source of income and for at least 6 months to demonstrate stability. Currently, she's not working, and she says that she receives checks for disability, but we don't have any verification of that at this time. We're asking her to sign all releases asked for by the department. We are asking her to maintain a drug-free lifestyle, and she has drug tested for us, and those drug tests have been negative so far. We're asking her to do a psychological evaluation with Stonebridge. We're asking her to do a mental health evaluation, and she will follow all recommendations set forth by those providers. We're asking her to do a wing group with Brenda Wilbanks based on the domestic violence that seems present in this case, and we'll be referring her to that. We're asking her to do individual counseling, and we'll be referring her to Holly Waddle here in Lubbock. And we're asking her to do 12 hours of parenting classes, and we referred her to the parenting cottage, and she has gotten that scheduled to begin this December. And we're asking her to do visits weekly with her child. She's having 4 hours of visits this week as ordered by yourself, and those visits are going very well, and we're very happy with those visits so far.
All right, Ms. Cliff Williams, it's my understanding Ms. Gonzalez is 17. Is that right?
Judge, I
Your
represent
Honor.
Ms. Gonzalez.
I'm
Yes.
sorry. Mr. Johnson, your client,
Yes,
well,
she-
both of them really. They're both 17?
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
That's correct.
Before I go into that, Mr. Anguiano, tell me about Mr. Mermedia's plan of service.
Mr. Mame's plan will be pretty much be the exact same as mother's as far as services. Instead, we'll be asking him to do a bit program for his role in domestic violence instead of a women's group. But all services will remain exactly the same. I will add that we've asked Mr. Mame to drug test repeatedly, and he has not done that. And I will add that there's no other word for it, Your Honor. He's blown off 2 visits with his child. And he's done that on the day of the visits. He had within about an hour of those visits, where our FSW has gone to pick him up, and he has just pretty much blown her off without any warning, without any notice or any reason why. He did make his visit this morning, and that appears to have gone well.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, Ms. Cliff Williams, some of these services, like full-time employment, do we know if these parents have graduated from high school?
My client has not graduated from high school. She is planning on enrolling in can't think of the name of the specialized school to kind of accelerate your diploma. Her plan is to get her diploma, but she's not currently enrolled in school.
She expressed to me that she wanted to attend Matthews, Your Honor.
Matthews, that's it. Yes.
And Your Honor, I do not believe my client has graduated from high school either.
And I don't believe he's enrolled either, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, Ms. Cliff Williams, what are these parents' plan? Are they seeking to be out on their own? Are they seeking to get a job? Are they wanting to go to school? Are they wanting to finish school? What is their overall goal and plan?
Zane wants to finish school, and currently she wants to have the child ultimately placed with her. She wants to work for services, and she seems genuinely motivated to do that.
Okay.
And Your Honor, as far as my client, I know that he wants his child placed back with him. As far as school, I've not discussed that with him. I briefly did, but he said he needed to take care of his mental health issues. I believe he took that mental health assessment, if I'm not mistaken. Insofar as his visits, we had a meeting with the department, and I advised them he did not have transportation. So I'm not sure if the department sent their FST out there has been doing it regularly. I know that first time he missed the visit, he had no transportation and he had gone to the mental health facility. So that was the issue with him not visiting the first time. I'm not sure what happened the second time, but I know that he either needs to finish school or find employment. But I believe that he needed to take care of his mental health at first.
And Your Honor, in regards to those 2 visits that were missed, my FSW actually went to the house to pick him up, and he sent his sister to the door to tell her he wasn't feeling well, and then the other time he just didn't answer the door. So they were at the house to pick him up, and he didn't show up.
Okay, as far as housing and employment, especially employment, I would like to make one change to both plans of service, and that is first focus on finishing high school for both parents. And then worry about working. I think it's going to be very challenging for either one of these parents to find stable employment without some sort of high school degree. So I want to encourage either a GED program or a credit recovery program or something like that for both parents to get involved. And,
yeah, sure.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then let's worry about housing and employment. But as far as the rest of the services on the plan, I will approve the plan of service. And one thing that I am concerned about is BIP for Mr. Mermelia. How in the world is he going to pay for that?
Your Honor, we're amenable to if he is able to address that with counseling. However, he hasn't been very involved with us at all. So, we would ask that he address it with counseling. And then if the counselor says it needs to be discussed further, then we can work with BIP. But we can do that at this time, Your Honor.
Okay.
And so, Your Honor, I'd ask that his plan of service be changed to where he would have counseling and the domestic violence addressed in that rather than the BIP program, because he absolutely cannot afford that. And I don't believe that his parents can afford to do that either.
Yes, let's address the domestic violence, either in the choices counseling or with Mr. Gatlin. And certainly if either one of those counselors thinks that the problem is significant enough that we need BIP, let the court know, and we'll figure out a resource of some sort to getting BIP.
Yes, Your Honor, and we are referring him to Mr. Gallen.
Okay. All right, the court approves the plans for the parents with those changes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Any other concerns or anything else on Mermelia?
Could you go ahead and do the expedited home study order for the maternal aunt?
Yes, I'll do a 10-day home study on the aunt, Miss Silvar, however you say that name. Okay, and yes, I will set this for an initial permanency hearing, March the 19th at 2.
Yes, Your Honor. Gary Mitchell with the Lubbock County District Attorney's Office, appearing on behalf of the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. The department appears today by and through the caseworker, Yolanda Ramsey, and Supervisor Dakota Miller, and sitting ready to proceed.
Jared Miller, attorney ad litem, present, ready.
Okay, what is the status of service on the parents?
Your Honor, I show mom was personally served on 10/12, as was the father, or the presumed father.
Okay, tell me about Iverson. Where is he currently placed?
Iverson is currently placed at Boys to Men RTC in Houston.
That's the same placement where we were at the adversary?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, how is he doing there?
He had been doing really well for a good few weeks. I actually got an email today, though, that they've had some behavior issues pop up. He's been just acting out and being rude to staff, and there's been a few issues recently within the last week, but he had been doing really well, and now we've seen almost like a decrease in his behavior. It's been getting a little worse the past few weeks, like the last week.
That sounds maybe like we're past the honeymoon stage.
That's what I believe.
Okay, what are we doing to address the behaviors?
The RTC put in a safety plan just to make sure he didn't have any like runaway issues, just to make sure, just to keep him safe, because he is doing a few things that he's not supposed to do, like entering other children's rooms. And so they put a few things in place just to make sure those things happen. And his supervision was already at like the highest level. You know, there was always an adult watching him, and there was always an adult with him if possible. And that has continued as well.
Okay. Health-wise, how is he doing? Any sort of medical concerns?
No medical concerns physically. He does have his mental health issues, but he is seeing a counselor, I want to say 2 to 3 times a week, that the RTC has come in, but no physical issues as of right now.
All right, and tell me about his medications. What is he on medicine for?
His medications, he is on ADHD medication, he's on anxiety medication, and he is on his medication for his diagnosed paranoid schizophrenia.
Do we know what kind of therapy it is? Is it trauma focused? Is it, tell me, what do we know about the therapy?
There is trauma therapy involved. They mostly do, it's almost like play therapy. They bring something for him to focus on because his ADHD, his attention span is not the greatest. And so they do have play therapy involved, but it is trauma based.
Okay. Academically, he's in the 5th grade?
Yes, Your Honor.
And how's he doing in school so far?
He is doing all right. They've been having a few issues with his overstimulation. He does get really overstimulated very quickly, but that he does receive 2 breaks every day that he gets to kind of leave the classroom and go do something so he doesn't become overstimulated as easy. But his grades are overall doing really well. And they have he'll come home and see his caseworker and be like, I had a good day today, or I had a not great day today. So he's actually been better about verbalizing the kind of day he's had.
Did he have an ARD at some point?
I believe they're planning the ARD. It hasn't happened yet, and I haven't been notified of the date, but I know that there is one to be determined. There should be one happening.
All right, and I'm assuming they're going to put in some behavioral modifications for him to help with that focus problem.
Absolutely.
Okay, what does Iverson like to do for fun?
Iverson loves to play video games. He is obsessed with Mortal Kombat, anything action based. He loves superheroes. So for Halloween, they got him a Batman costume. And before Halloween, he would come home and be like, I had a good day at school. Can I go put my Batman costume on? And he loves to run around in his Batman costume, even with Halloween over. He's a very fun, playful little boy.
Okay, very good. Mr. Miller, any additional concerns regarding Iverson?
Nothing additionally. I did want to tell Zona, I just sent you an email. I was going to see if you could send me that email you were just talking about a minute ago about the behavior issues.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Thanks. I don't have anything else, Judge.
Okay, at the adversary hearing, we talked about a home study on the biological mom, Kim Johnson. Have we located her?
I don't believe so. I haven't received anything regarding the home study.
Okay, let's do some digging and see if we can find Kim Johnson. The adoptive father is the one who suggested that, so it makes me think that maybe there's some contact happening between the child and the biological mother. Mr. Miller, maybe you could visit with Iverson about it and see if he was in contact with his mother and knows anything about that.
Okay.
Let's ask the therapist about it first, though. It might be something, if he's not been in contact with the biological mom, it might send him into a tailspin. So
okay,
let's address it with the therapist first. Okay. Any other placement options besides the biological mother?
As of right now, no. When I talked to Kevin and Teresa about it, they say that most of the family members have an issue either with CPS or they would not be interested. There was one family member, her name was Patty Rose. She did reach out wanting to, be in contact with Iverson and talk to him. But when we asked her, she said that, she had an issue with CPS in the past. And so she knew she wouldn't pass a home study as well as multiple other family members, that there would be some form of barrier for them to be considered for placement.
Well, let's do a home study on, who did you say, Rose?
Patty Rowe is her name.
Patty Rowe.
Your Honor, I asked her if she would want to do a home study anyway. I explained to her we could still do it. And she told me no. We can reach back out to her again. She does stay in communication with Zona and I. I have spoken to her and she said no, but we can definitely ask again. But we had already mentioned, there are sometimes ways around, so.
Mm-hmm. Maybe let's mention to her the possibility of her maybe participating in some therapy with Iverson. Maybe she's a little bit nervous about the behaviors, which would be understandable, but maybe if she would be, let's first ask if she would be willing to participate in some therapy with Iverson.
Yes, and she said her main issue with being placement, what she told me was financial and her own health.
Okay.
Your Honor, if I might address Dakota. And Zona, if you determine after your conversations that she wants to go ahead and do a home study, if you'll let me know, I'll get it order expedited from the court.
Okay, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's keep looking. Mr. Miller, you might ask Iverson if he has any ideas about options.
Okay.
Okay, what is on the plan of service for the Moores?
The plan of service includes, I have it right in front of me. We asked that they sign any release of information that we request. We just haven't requested any at this time. We request that Kevin retains his employment and his housing. I know Kevin did recently come out of retirement just because he was like, I can't sit around the house anymore. I can't do nothing. And he's a contracted employee. He does own his own home and is currently paying the rest of it off. We did ask that he participate in individual counseling. We asked him to participate in visitations with Iverson, as well as complying with the requirements of our family plans. However, when I did talk to him, he did not share any interest in completing any services. He just is one of those people, he doesn't think he needs a lot of it. And also at the same time, he is one of those people that it's his timing that he's like, I don't want to, spend the time to do these things. And so that's kind of where we are. I did give him a copy of the family plan to sign and, address if he'd like, and I haven't heard back about it, but I know he was not big on the idea of having to complete any services at this time. And we are not asking any services of Teresa since she is on hospice and she's bedbound.
Okay. Is Mr. Moore visiting Iverson?
He is completing his visitations. We do them on Zoom, since Iverson is out of region. We originally had the schedule for once a week for 1 hour just to kind of see how they started. And Kevin then requested to move the visits for 1 hour for every 2 weeks due to just timing. And he says that Iverson is not a very talkative boy, which can be the case. There, one time I called him and he, very short answers. Yes, no, okay, let me know, stuff like that. And this last time I called him, he wanted to talk about everything under the sun. So that is a very fair thing for Kevin to say, is that it's kind of depending on his mood, how he talks. So he requested that the visits be moved to every 2 weeks for 1 hour.
Mr. Mitchell, you might give Mr. Moore and Ms. Moore a phone call. And if it is correct that Mr. Moore is not wanting to participate in services, and I understand the situation with Mrs. Moore, but if they're not looking to participate in services and get Iverson back in their home, this is probably a case that we need to talk about just a transfer of PMC or some agreed order in that respect, and get it to the PMC docket and worry more about permanent placement for Iverson and services and that sort of thing.
Yes, ma'am.
But I will set it on an initial permanency hearing March the 19th at 3. But if you have a visit with the Moores and I can set it for a final hearing, let me know.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, anything else on Iverson? Let me have the parties identified. All right, thank y'all. We'll be adjourned.
Gary Mitchell with the Lubbock County District Attorney's Office, appearing on behalf of the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. The department appears by and through St. Francis Ministries caseworker Margaret Allen and Supervisor Amber Weatherford. I see them present and ready to proceed.
Jared Miller, attorney ad litem.
Cynthia Terso for the mother, present and ready, Your Honor. And I did speak with my client, Ms. Hickman, and I believe she said she was either stuck in the lobby or trying to join the court today as well.
She's in here. She's under Rosanna Vasquez.
Oh, perfect.
Michelle Kaiser-Wacasa.
And Jared Miller.
What about me?
Okay.
Nathaniel is currently placed in a foster home in Loveland. Overall, he's doing well. He is gaining weight. He's receiving services through ECI for occupational physical therapy and speech therapy. And he's making progress. He's making some progress on his developmental delays that we noticed when he first came into care, like being able to hold his head up. And overall, he's a very happy and healthy baby. He seems to not be getting any of the illnesses that are going around, even though he's in daycare, but overall, he's doing very well.
Give to him.
Okay, Ms. Hickman, do you have any concerns regarding Nathaniel?
I'm just confused. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, you have an attorney, Alicia Walker, in this case, and Ms. Terso is also here. I'd invite you to call your attorney and talk to them about anything that you might be confused about in the case, okay? All right. Mr. Miller, any concerns regarding Nathaniel?
No, Your Honor.
Casa, concerns regarding Nathaniel?
No, Judge, he's doing really good. Margaret said, he's grown. He's moving around more, holding his head up better. He's gotten better eating more. He's attached to his foster mom, and he's just doing really good. Doing good in daycare as well, advancing like I had hoped. So he's made leaps and bounds since he's been in our home.
All right, perfect. Okay, I had ordered a home study on the paternal great aunt at the adversary hearing. What is the status of that, Ms. Allen?
Your Honor, we have not been able to make contact with that paternal aunt, getting locating information to be able to get that home study requested.
Okay. Ms. Hickman, do you have a good phone number, good contact information for your aunt?
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, it's a paternal great aunt, so it would be Miss Vasquez. Is it Rosanna Vasquez?
It's Christina.
Christina Vasquez.
Yes.
That's the father's aunt that we're talking about as far as being a placement option.
Yes, ma'am.
Is she there?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have good contact information for Christina Vasquez?
Yeah, you gotta get in the contact. Yes, ma'am. I just gotta get on the contact on here.
All right. Can you tell me who that is there with you?
Rosanna Vasquez.
Okay. How's she related?
She's the sister-in-law.
Sister-in-law. Okay. All right. At some point, I need y'all to get the contact information for Christina Vasquez to your caseworker or your attorney. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
We would very much like to get the baby out of foster care. We would very much like to get the baby out of foster care and into a home of a relative if we can.
I did, ma'am.
Okay. Tell me about Miss Hickman's plan of service. What are we asking Miss Hickman to do?
Okay, we have asked Ms. Hickman to obtain, maintain stable housing. We've asked her to provide verification of her Social Security disability check, and we'll learn how to appropriately manage, access, and manage those funds. We've asked her to complete parenting classes through the parenting cottage and demonstrate that what she's learning in those parenting classes through her family visits. We have asked that to participate in supervised visitation with Nathaniel at least once a week for 2 hours. That she will participate in individual therapy and follow all recommendations. Complete a mental health evaluation through Sunrise Canyon. Complete an OSAR assessment and follow all recommendations. Ms. Hickman will be referred to Life Run for further assistance and will follow all recommendations. Ms. Hickman will submit to random drug screens as requested and will refrain from any illegal substance abuse or use.
Ms. Terso, any issues with the plan of service?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. We have two alleged fathers in the case, Mr. Garces and Mr. Vasquez Garcia. What are we asking them to do?
For both parents for both fathers, we have asked Mr. Garcia and Mr. Garces to obtain, maintain safe and appropriate housing, obtain or maintain legal employment, refrain from any criminal or illegal activities, and maintain contact with St. Francis Ministries. Once the father is, we do know who the father is, and we will make a more detailed service plan at that point.
Do we know the location of the two guys?
We know Mr. Garcia is here. He does reside with Ms. Hickman. Ms. Garces is in Oklahoma, is my understanding.
Okay. I'm going to order a paternity test on you said Mr. Garcia is the one that lives with the mother?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll order a paternity test as to Mr. Garcia. And I will approve both plans of service. And do we know if any of the parents have gotten a start on their services?
Ms. Hickman has been participating in her visits. She has missed a few because she hasn't felt well, which I know she doesn't want to get Nathaniel sick since he is, only a baby. But she is maintaining contact with myself and with the family support worker when she's unable to miss those visits. And then we will get her referred to the other services. And we are also providing transportation for her visits and any other services that she needs as they come up.
Okay, I will approve all the plans of services. Anything else on Nathaniel? Okay, Ms. Terso, do you want to visit with Ms. Hickman for a minute, or you just want to call her later?
I can call her directly.
Okay. Ms. Hickman, stick by your phone. Your attorney's going to call you and talk to you about your confusion.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
When will I be able to get my son back?
Ms. Hickman, your plan of service includes some services that you need to complete. And when you do those services, and when I get some recommendations from your service providers that it would be safe to send your boy home, then we'll talk about sending your boy home. If you have other questions, I think I would encourage you to talk to your lawyer. That's why you have one.
Okay.
And she's going to call you, okay?
Okay.
All right. Is there anything else?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I'm going to set this for an initial permanency hearing, March the 19th.
Hearing initial with the Lubbock County District Attorney's Office on behalf of the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. The department appears today through caseworker Abigail Cordonier and Supervisor Alejandra Mosqueda, present and ready to proceed.
And Your Honor, I believe Ms. Hudman is out of town, but she filed a report via email. I'm Jana Clift-Williams. I'm the attorney ad litem for Erica, the child.
Okay, tell me how the parents are doing in services this month.
The parents are doing well. They've completed their parenting classes. They're attending their counseling sessions. I believe they only have a few more sessions in those. Their drug tests continue to be negative. Jennifer has now moved into, her and Robert and the baby have now moved back into the home together, and they seem to be doing well there. They're doing really well. Jennifer, you can already just tell just when we talk but regarding drug use, she attends all of her AA/NA sessions. We've talked about she's gaining weight. She sent me some pictures just how her face has changed in making those in now that she's no longer using. Her and Robert just state that sobriety has been good for them, and they're doing really well. And Erica's doing well too. She's growing.
Okay, this is a TFF case. Are parents fully participating in both sides of the case, the family center treatment and the department services?
They are.
All right. Anything that the parents need to be working on or doing or addressing that they aren't?
No, just continue doing what they're doing. They're doing great.
All right, very good. Ms. Cliff-Williams, any concerns regarding Erica or the parents?
No, Your Honor, I agree with Ms. Mosqueda that the parents are doing very well in their services. And I too can tell a lot of changes in both of them. I believe they've learned to participate in activities that the community provides, like they were taking Erica to trunk and treat events for Halloween, and they had her dressed up really cute, and they're going to farmers markets, things like that. So they're learning to get out and do things rather than doing other things that would not be appropriate. But Erica, she's developing, she's cooing, she is very lively and active, and she's just a really, really good baby. So she's progressing, the parents are progressing. I'm very pleased with their progress in this case.
Okay, beautiful. Anything from the family center treatment folk?
Yes, they are in the third phase, so they're well on their way of finishing. They are participating in every single session. They communicate with me well. They engage every time I come with an activity, so they're making great progress.
Okay, very good. Ms. Hudman missed a good hearing. Y'all can tell her. Okay, I'm going to set the next compliance review hearing December the 12th at 1:15. Department versus Jennifer Whitehead and San Juan Vargas. Let me have the parties identified.
Yes, Your Honor. Gary Mitchell with the Lubbock County District Attorney's Office on behalf of the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. The department appearing today through caseworker Abigail Cordonier and Supervisor, I think Alejandra Mosqueda may be covering. Yes. Present and ready to proceed.
Jana Clift-Williams, I'm the attorney ad litem for the child.
Okay, tell me how the parents are doing in services this month.
Okay, Jennifer is, as far as in regards to services, she has one more session to do for parenting. She did drug test for the department on the 14th and she was negative. She has already been dismissed from counseling with Mr. Gatlin, and then she continues participating in the family center treatment through St. Francis. San Juan, he remains incarcerated. I have provided him with some packets as far as accountability and responsibility that we have gone over. He is also completing a series called the 33 series. He's doing parenting while there, and he's doing well.
Look like we have anybody from the family center treatment program, but as far as we're aware, they're fully participating in the family center treatment services?
Yes, they are.
Do you all know what phase they might be in?
They are in the third phase.
While we're looking for them, Ms. Cliff Williams, any concerns regarding Sonia?
No, Your Honor, she is developing as normal. She was a little fussy the last time I saw her, but she had 6 immunizations the day before, including a flu shot. And so the doctor told Miss Whitehead that she would be a little fussy. So she just wasn't feeling really good. You could tell her eyes were a little red, but other than that, everything is going great.
Okay.
So they are in the creating changes phase.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Are we talking about Miss Christina Vasquez?
No, Miss Whitehead.
I'm sorry. I think I'm in the wrong courtroom then.
That hearing's coming up.
Okay, I'm so sorry about that.
That's okay. If you'll just hang out for just a minute. Okay. Mr. Mitchell, do we need any more hearings for this family? This looks like it's.
Your Honor, I just think they're doing great. I'll let Alejandra.
Well, the only thing that I would say as far as I'm concerned with the department is that she was dismissed out of Salvation Army due to not being truthful with them. She's had, they reported, which she stated that it's not been 6 jobs, but they're reporting that she had 6 jobs within 7 months. So she just had to go to, or she found a place to go at WPS. The only thing that the department would like to see is some stability because she is without a job again. She had great opportunity at Salvation Army to get housing because she was not able to keep a job and was not truthful in some of the things that she was telling them. And she wasn't truthful with me either. She had to leave. And like I said, she did quickly find another place, which is at WPS, but I'd like her to make sure that she takes advantage of the resources that they're going to offer her there. I'd like for her to be able to find a job, find some sort of stability since she does have the baby.
And Your Honor, this is Miss Whitehead on it's COOSEASL101AE is Miss Whitehead.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. I just barely got it to work. I'm here.
Okay. I know that you came in after they described your progress and services, but it sounds like you've almost completed your services with the department and you're in phase 3 of the family centered treatment program, but they're concerned about your job stability. Tell me, are you working?
No, but I do have an interview. I was going to tell my caseworker that today over here at the Taco Casa for Monday after Thanksgiving, and I'm going to go back to the interview and see if I can get on at Taco Casa.
Okay. Can you understand why the department has some concerns regarding your job stability?
Yes, I do understand.
And Your Honor, I was under the impression that Jennifer was working for a temporary agency. I'm not sure if that's the case. Is that correct, Jennifer?
Yes, I still can work with KT Black, but they only got night stuff right now, and I can't work at nights because no babysitter for Sonia.
And I'm unfamiliar with KT Black. Is that like a Snelling employment
it's like
agency?
a temporary service.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to set this for another compliance review hearing, December the 12th at 1:15. That will be the 6th hearing, which is coming up on the 180 days. This is a TFF case, and they're pretty strict about those deadlines. So if we need to have another hearing after that, we're going to have to look at the statute and see. We'll need an order of some sort extending this because these hearings are certainly not supposed to go past 6 months. If we're still doing services 6 months into a TFF case, it's not working. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. We'll see where we are next month. But if we're not dismissing next month, then we need to look at doing something else. December 12th at 1:15. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Gary Mitchell with the Lubbock County District Attorney's Office, appearing on behalf of the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. The department is also appears through Chelsea Vasquez, present and ready to proceed.
Leanne Fouch, Your Honor, I'm here for Ariel Briones, and I'm in my car, so I'm parked, but I can't see everybody on the Zoom link, so I need to see if Ariel's on there.
Is this Miss Briones in the iPhone box? Okay, she said yes. I couldn't hear her, but I heard her say it, or I saw her say it. Tell me how Miss Briones is doing in services.
After our last court hearing, she did get started with her parenting classes, and she has had 3 sessions so far. We have the two little ones in daycare. Braylon and Breland have started counseling. They started that on Friday of last week. And just getting everything going. Ariel will have another counseling session once her counselor gets back to her office. She's been out the last couple of weeks, so she hasn't been able to get into another counseling session in. But right now, everything seems to be going along as far as her services going since our last hearing. So she's doing pretty well.
Okay. Are there any services that Miss Briones needs to be participating in that she's not?
No.
Miss Fouts?
Judge, I would just say I think the court will remember last month Ariel was very frustrated. She's frustrated with me. She was frustrated with the caseworker. She couldn't get bus passes, but we had a meeting right after the last hearing. She was feeling a lot better, and bus passes got set up for her and she got fully engaged. I think now that she has a little bit of assistance, she's doing way better.
I agree.
Okay, good. Miss Briones, do you agree?
Yeah, Judge, I agree.
Okay. A much better hearing than we had last time. Tell me what you're learning in your services.
My parenting classes, basically, they've been teaching me how to kind of, with 4 kiddos, I have 2-year-olds and 8-year-olds, so it's a big age gap, but to kind of deal with their developmental stages, their milestones, having to cope with, all my attention to the 2-year-olds and then still giving attention to the 8-year-olds, and just kind of learning that I do need time to myself, like a little breather, to make sure I'm okay, to be okay for them. I can't pour from an empty cup is what she told me. Have to kind of, make sure my mental state and physical state's equipped to be able to take care of all 4 of them. And it actually helped me because I started journaling to just give some me time when I put them to sleep at night, and just trying to do better.
Okay, much better report than last time. Nice work, Ms. Briones. I'm glad that you got engaged in services. I'm glad the department was able to help you set up the daycare and everything else needed.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Mitchell, same thing in this case. We're at the 6-month mark next hearing, so we need to figure out what we're doing next hearing.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I will set another review hearing December 12th. Okay, how is Ms. Madrill doing in services this month?
Juliana is doing very well in services. She maintains contact with me. She has a job. She's been able to maintain that job since she completed her inpatient treatment. She is doing counseling with her and her children. The children, she's testing negative on her drug screens for me as well. The children report good things as well. They're glad to be back in the home with her. They have everything they need as far as, food and all utilities and things like that. So Miss Madrill she's doing fantastic. I'm so proud of her.
Okay, she still have that same job that she had last time we were here?
Yes.
Good. All right, Mr. Miller, any concerns with the children?
No, they're doing really good.
All right, very good. Do we have Miss Madrill present? I don't see her. Okay. Anything else on the Madrill case?
The only thing I'd like to add is that I'm thinking we're going to want to go ahead and dismiss. I'm wanting to do a couple of more, give her a couple more resources, just like for the holidays, just kind of set that up. But I'd like to have her case closed out by the end of this month.
Like today?
No, just by the 30th.
Okay, I'll set it for another compliance review hearing December the 12th at 2. However, Mr. Mitchell, if your clients get with you and are okay with dismissing before that, just send me a dismissal and I'll take that hearing off the docket.
I bet they'll send me one.
The department versus Christina. But for now, another review hearing December 12th at 2.
Henry Mitchell with the Lubbock County District Attorney's Office, appearing on behalf of the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. The department appears today with caseworker Abigail Contreras and supervisor, it's Samantha Ochoa who is here, as well as Supervisor Alejandra Vasquez, present and ready to proceed.
Katie Mason, attorney and guardian ad litem for the children, present, ready.
Okay, tell me how Ms. Vasquez is doing in services this month.
Okay, she is doing really well. She continues to participate in her individual counseling with Miss Cynthia Bowen Burns. She continues to work on parenting with her FIS worker, Alondra Mora. They have been doing more family activities during her TFF sessions twice a week. As far as her drug screens, she did complete a drug screen on the 10/24. That was after our last hearing. And on 11/7, she was negative for all substances. Due to her consistent negative screens, the department did reach out to the attorneys, and it was agreed upon to lift her supervision with the children, so she can now be unsupervised with the kids. She is also participating in the Padres substance abuse education group. Next week, she will be doing her relapse prevention plan and completing that service. So she'll also give me that certificate of completion next week. She's still doing really good with her family-centered treatment. She does have a new caseworker, Alondra Mora, and she is consistent with meeting with her twice a week. She is not present today. I did notify the attorneys that we did go out to a visit today, and AJ unfortunately got a hold of a piece of candy that she didn't know had peanut in it. So she stuck him with an EpiPen and took him to the emergency room. I did get an update. He is fine, but they want to just look over him to make sure that he's okay for a few more hours. So the family seems to be doing really good, though.
Okay. Is there any service that Ms. Vasquez needs to be participating in that she's not?
No, ma'am. She's doing everything that we're asking her to.
Okay. And we feel like she is addressing all the concerns in the case?
Yes, ma'am. She is still going to her women's group, even though she has completed the 8 recommended services or sessions. She continues to go and address unhealthy relationships, identifying boundaries, setting new boundaries, and addressing PTSD from those past relationships. So she's got a really good support system right there.
Okay, very good. Ms. Mora, any issues with Ms. Vasquez's participation in the family-centered treatment?
No, I would say that she's showing really good progress. Her area family functioning actually just changed to roles when we did her last FAD on her. So I would say that she's showing really good signs of progress. Like the person before me said, she is complying with all her services, and she does go to her women's group still because she finds it as a really good source of support. So yeah, I have like nothing but good things to say.
Great. Can you tell me again what phase she's in?
She is currently in restructuring in the 2nd phase.
Okay, very good. Ms. Mason, any concerns with the Sosa kids or this family?
No, Your Honor, I was going to say that Legend mom reports that he's actually doing really well in school with his ADHD medication. He just got an award for perfect attendance. And then AJ, she's still working on getting him into daycare. And then she also told me that she's going to start a new job at Jackson Hewitt. So every time I visit, I have no concerns. Mom's doing extremely well, and the boys are doing great. So nothing but positive things.
Beautiful. Okay, another TFF case that's working well. I love it. All right, I'll set another review hearing December the 12th at 1:15. Let me have the parties identified.
Gary Mitchell with the Lubbock County District Attorney's Office, appearing on behalf of the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. The department also appears through caseworker Jessica Castro and Supervisor Alejandra Mosqueda, present and ready to proceed.
Katie Mason, attorney and guardian ad litem for the children, present, ready.
Okay, this is a case where the department talked about wanting to dismiss. Ms. Morgeson was obviously in agreement with that. Ms. Mason, you are not. Ms. Mason, have you changed your mind?
I'm in agreement with the department dismissing. There's just a couple of things that I would like for them to include that I guess the department's not willing to include in that, in what they're expecting of placement moving forward.
Okay. Hopefully you have described those things to Ms. Morgeson. She addressed them with their client, and we're not coming back here in this case. All right, I will dismiss on Brandy Graves. Anything else?
Not from the department, Your Honor.
Okay, thank y'all. That's all I have. Y'all have a good day. Have a good Thanksgiving.